those things. Like, if anything is happening in the real world and you show up with a camera, you're affecting it. People know they're on camera. They know they're performing for a camera.
Yeah.
They're going to act differently. They're going to, the Jersey Shore people didn't get to be on Jersey Shore because they behave like that all the time. They knew the camera was there. They knew they were turning it on more for the camera, you know? So you're affecting it by being there. But on a show like, Wife Swap, for example, the setup of the show is something that would never happen. You're trading wives with somebody. But almost everything that happened in the show, apart from that, which was set up by the show, was real. So that was actually the realest thing I've ever worked on, believe it or not. And that's like the one that is a very kind of formulaic setup, So like they were never really going to swap wives. But after that happens in the show, almost everything that happens, their interaction, you're guiding them. You're asking them questions that are leading. You're trying to, lay a breadcrumb trail to what is going to be conflict so that they can resolve it later in the show. And that's what the producing the show is. But it's real. Like, their arguments are real. The disagreements on that show are real. When the mom wants to move out of the house because the dad is crazy, or vice versa, it's all real. So it depends on the show. Yeah.
I saw a couple episodes. Are there any Wife Swap episodes that you wish you might have produced? Like maybe presidential, like Nancy Reagan switch with Big Mike or Michelle Obama. That could be a cool one.
Presidential Wife Swap.
Yeah, presidential Wife Swap would be pretty cool. That would be a pretty fun.
And one goes to the White House, one goes to like whatever
Not
house.
the White House.
Yeah, whatever house they live in.
I mean, there were a lot of episodes I did that were not on that level, but that was always the idea. It was always kind of like, you get people, everyone remembers it as like, oh, it's the very religious family, or it's the family with the lederhosen that runs the Airbnb, not an Airbnb, it doesn't exist back then.
Okay.
But, in a bed and breakfast or something. But then it always came down to, one family had was strict with their kids and had rules and regulations and guidelines, and the other family was a lot more loose. And eventually everyone is yelling at each other like, your kids are going to end up in jail, and it ends up in a fight. And that's the producing. That's just like,
So they do say that sometimes if you're being recorded, you kind of forget that you're being recorded.
Yeah.
Do you, as a producer, you wait for that moment to happen, and then you're like, we'll use more of that footage?
Yeah.
Or you just use whatever footage you have and make a show out of it?
I mean, I honestly